tuning into my channel. I am Darla and you are tuned into the 30 Journey. So guys, thank you so much for coming back with me today, and if this is your first time, welcome. So today I'm going to be talking about solo travel. So now that I'm in my 30s, I decided that, you know what, I want to start doing stuff by myself. I am in my season of singleness, which might be turning into a decade. I have a video coming soon about that, but I really wanted to embrace going places alone. I really wanted to embrace doing things alone because that's not something that was always easy for me. So I really wanted to make sure that I was honing in on doing that and really enjoying it. So one of the things I started doing this year in 2018 was taking solo travel trips. So basically what that is for me is just going places that I've been wanting to go or putting off, or whatever it is for whatever reason that I've been having on my list. I just decided to start going. I don't want to wait for a friend to have the money to do it. I don't want to, wait for a significant other to do certain things. I want to go out and do things for myself. So I know solo trips have become like this new big thing. And honestly, for me, it wasn't because that was something anybody else was doing. It wasn't because it started becoming popular or anything like that. I legitimately felt like it was a time in my life that I wanted to start doing things by myself and alone and really enjoying and embracing it. So that's what I started to do. And I'm not the type of person to follow what everybody else is doing. So on these trips, I would always make sure I had a reason for going to places that I decided to go. So I'm gonna get into that a little bit and give you guys some great tips on how to make your solo trip your solo trip. And I'm gonna share a great story at the end of this video about one of my escapades, if you will. Not really escapades, I'm being extra right now, but one of the stories to where I felt like God was kind of guiding me on this trip, and how it was very interesting with a certain male person that I met, and just that whole thing. So a few people hit me up in my DMs about my solo trips, and even from posting things on my Insta story, that everywhere that I've gone to and things like that, how did you pick some of the things that you picked, or why did you go here? I love what you're doing and I really want to do this. So I'm like, I gotta do a video on this. Like, I gotta give you guys information on what this can actually mean for you, and honestly just share, like I said, share my experiences with you guys, because honestly every single one, and I've done 3 so far this year, I do one every quarter, so they have been lit. And my lit might not be your lit, but either way it was lit for me, and I had a great time every time, and I feel like they've all exceeded my expectations, and I love it. So I really want to share that with you guys today. So one of the things that I want to tell you guys as far as going on your trips is to make sure that if you are trying to save money, to keep that in mind when choosing a hotel. So for me, I really didn't focus too much on the money, but of course I didn't want to go overboard either. But at the same, because of course you spending money, this is just you. Ain't nobody that'll pick up the tab. This is on you. So I want to give you guys 3 options when it comes to staying in a nice space in another city or state. You want to try to do things like hostels, pod hotels, and Airbnbs. So hostels, those are the dorm type setting hotels where it's kind of like a bunch of people in a very smaller space. You kind of share that space, and you get to meet other people from different places, and you really kind of have to reach out and be very open to meeting other people, and that kind of forces you to make friends there and things like that, which I think is great. Also, pod hotels. So pod hotels are kind of just like basic regular hotels, but smaller spaces. So you save more money there as well if you don't mind staying in a small confined space, and you can still enjoy your time and spend money elsewhere, or just save money on that part altogether. And then of course there are Airbnbs, and I think everybody kind of knows that and what those are, and usually you can find some, I guess, for a nice price, where depending on where you want to stay. So I think all of those are great options. The funny thing about every option I just named, I've never tried any of them, and I'm just recommending them for you guys because that may be your thing. Me personally, I had to take it slow. I had to really just say, you know what, I'm gonna stay in a hotel, I'm gonna enjoy myself, and I just chucked up the money for that. However, I was very strategic about where I decided to stay, because I thought that was very important, because when it comes to doing things and branching out and going different places, you want to kind of try to save money as much as you can, and I'll get to that. And also I want to suggest Google Flights. Google Flights is great as far as finding the cheapest flights, round trip, one way, whatever you decide to do. I think everybody kind of knows the trick when it comes to certain things and booking flights is to book one-way flights, both going and coming, and that way you save a little bit more money there instead of the round trip. But for me, because I am a little bougie in this aspect, I'll go ahead and admit to that, I let booking sites do the work for me. So I do pay a little bit of a fee, but because I get points back on my credit card, because I do get points with Expedia, which is who I book through, I usually always go through them to book everything for me at one time, and usually sometimes, guys, I get great deals. Another tip that I want to give you guys to save money is quick bites. Now this can be great in the sense of you just basically picking places that you want to pick up something quick to eat, and you can save more money that way by doing that. And I'm gonna tell you how you can make that fun. You can always find places in another state that are different. Like in DC, for me, for example, there was this place called Astro's Chicken and Donuts. So of course I've had chicken, of course I've had donuts, but together, no, I haven't actually. So I thought this was a cool place to kind of try. I thought it was something different, so I went for it and I did it. One thing I never like to do is to eat at places that I know I can eat at home. Like, that's so boring. Like, that's whack. I could get that at home. Now, unless you want to know how it tastes in another state or another city, I mean, that's on you, but me personally, I wouldn't do that. But quick bites are a great way to save money, so that way you're not really spending so much money on a meal. And I think personally, like I said, if you want to try, different restaurants, they might not have this restaurant in your state, which has happened to me when I went to Atlanta. I wanted to go to OLG, which is, Candy of Escape and the Real Housewives of Atlanta, her restaurant. And I was like, you know what, that's something I really want to try, so I'm going to spend the money to go and eat, even though, like I said, it is on your dime. So you got to be very conscious of that as well. But I really wanted to eat there, so I was like, that's not even a question. So if you want to save a little bit of money, make sure that you decide to look around at certain places around where your hotel is, or maybe not where your hotel, maybe a little bit further, depending on what you plan to do. Always go for the quick bites, because you'll save a little bit more money in that aspect, and you can use that money elsewhere. Okay, so now we're down to what a lot of people ask me, and one of the things is, how do you find some of the things that you always do? You're always doing cool things. Guys, it is so easy. I use 3 things: IG, YouTube, maps. So when picking a hotel, usually what I do next after picking the hotel is to look around that area to see what's near that hotel. And sometimes that actually helps me to choose the hotel depending on what I'm around. So after doing that, what I usually do is go to either YouTube or Instagram. Usually it's Instagram. I would search hashtags with that hotel. I would search hashtags with that city. And it's another reason why I do so many hashtags on my posts, because it allows people to see other things that other people are doing in that particular city, and that helps them. And I'm so grateful for the people that do that, because that helps me. And then you also want to search places on that on Instagram as well, because that helps you to see what's nearby, and that helps you choose a lot of the places that are nearby where you're going, and cool things that people post you may want to get into and you may want to do. So honestly, guys, that's all I do. I told you guys, I don't like to copy what anyone else is doing. I like to make it my own. However, like I said, I am extremely grateful for when people share that information and say, you know what, this is a really cool spot, let me tag it. And I mean, that may not be the reason for doing it, but I love to take advantage of it in that way. Oh, that's really cool. I think I might want to add that to my list. I remember when I went to DC, I actually put the local on a place that they didn't even know about that was in their own city. And I'm just saying, like, it's different things like that you want to do because it's cool. So another thing I like to stay away from is doing touristy things. Like, I don't like to do what everybody else is doing. Like, that's just not my thing. I love for my trips to be my trips. Like, of course, when I went to DC, I went to the African American Museum. That was a must. But even though it was very touristy, it was a must. Like, I was like, I have to do that. And then usually everything else that surrounded that trip, it was stuff that the locals were doing. Okay, so another tip that I want to give to you guys is to walk around as much as possible. Sometimes I just don't want to walk around, but I find when I walk around, that's when I find some of the coolest things. It's a great thing about walking around. You never know what you may walk into and run into. Oddly enough, one of the places that I did not realize was so close to my hotel was Sweet Chick, which is Nas's restaurant in LA. And I was like, I really want to visit that spot. Like, that was not even on my list. And cool things to do when it comes to going around different cities and different things like that. You want to make sure you make a list. So when you are on Instagram searching locations and different things like that, I go ahead and make a list of all the places that I want to visit. That's not to say that I'll be able to visit them all, but it's always good to have things already kind of set up, so that way when you get complacent, or if you feel like, you know what, I don't know what to do next, you have that list. Hey, I forgot about that, let me go ahead and try to do that. And then there are people who are just like, I'm just gonna fall into whatever I decide to fall into, which is completely fine as well. You do your thing, you make it your own. Me personally, I need a list, because I'm probably gonna be complacent in my hotel room and be like, I don't know, just gonna, chill. No, you did not come here to chill. You came here to conquer this city. You came here to get off your behind and enjoy this city. Don't stay in this room. So yeah, sometimes I have to have those talks with myself. I'm just saying, I'm an introvert, guys. I'm working on it. Another tip that I want to give you guys is to bring a friend. Okay, listen, Linda. A lot of people always tell me that they want to do this, they're just too scared to grow a pair. I'm just kidding, because it took me a long time to get here. But at the end of the day, the best thing I think to do is to start off slow. So if you decide that you want to bring a friend on a trip with you, which is perfectly fine, I think a good thing to do is for you guys to take a day where you decide, you know what, you go your way, I go mine, and meet back up that night. So that way you have the entire day to do whatever it is that you want to do on your trip. And that way you know that there's still somebody there, and you guys can kind of even challenge each other and say, let's see who come up with the coolest stuff to do, and make it fun. Like, do that, so that way you're kind of easing yourself into solo tripping. But it's always good to have a friend that's not that far away, so that way you kind of know that you have somebody there, even though they're not physically there with you, and you're having the experience of a solo trip. Like, don't be afraid to start off slow. Like, you don't have to just jump into this if you want to. Me, I went head first, but I'll kind of give you guys that story that I want to tell you. It's a couple of them. Okay, so it is good to have a friend in the state that you're deciding to visit. So me personally, when I went to Atlanta, I knew that I had a friend that was out in Atlanta that I could hit up if for whatever reason something happened. So you kind of want to make sure, if you have that, if you have that option, of course, to hit up a friend in that state and say, you know what, I'm coming in, I'm doing this or whatever. Can you bring me to the hotel, or can you look out for me, or whatever the case may be. Always a good option when it comes to traveling solo, because you want to make sure that you're kind of protected and taken care of a little bit. But sometimes everyone doesn't have that luxury. Like in LA, I didn't really have that luxury of having that friend that was there, but at the same time I had an amazing time. Like I said, that was one of the best solo trips I've honestly ever had. Saying that like I've had like 20 million, but still, it was the best one out of all of them so far. So they all got better and better, which was dope. I had a friend in Atlanta, and I hit him up 2 weeks before I went out there. I didn't get a response, y'all. So we're not, we're cool. We're cool, like we're buddies, but we're not like this or anything like that. So, but at the end of the day, like, we are cool. We talk, we check up on each other and things like that. And then I started posting stuff on my Insta story, and I guess he saw it. So he was texting me, oh my God, you're here, and this and that and the other. And I was like, I texted you 2 weeks ago, and I told you I was coming, but you ain't text back. So I was like low-key in my feelings, but I wasn't. I was just like, I'm here to enjoy my time, so I'm gonna enjoy my time or whatever. Later on that day, he texted me again, and I'm just like, I'm out here living my life. I'm just doing me. So I didn't text him back. I wasn't trying to be nasty or anything like that, but at the same time, I was like, I texted you 2 weeks ago. So I didn't reply. I didn't say anything again. So the next day, he texted me again, and he's like, are you ignoring me? Because he's seeing I'm posting things. I'm here or I'm there. And I'm just like, I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my thing. You know, I'm having fun. Y'all, I was being a hard you know what. So why? I don't even know why I was feeling away because he didn't text back 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I go to one of the restaurants, go see a little bit of Atlanta, and I come back to my hotel, and it was like maybe 3 in the afternoon by that time. And he texts me again, and he's like, are you ignoring me? Like, what is going on with you or whatever? And I finally text back, and he calls, and he's like, where are you? Like, what hotel are you staying at? You want to hang out today? You want to do some stuff or whatever? Like, come on. And I'm just like, I don't know what was the deal. And I just kind of felt this like push, and it was like, could you go? Like, seriously, go. And I'm just like, okay, you know, I'm this and that and the other. Y'all, we had the best time, and I was like so like being a hard, once again, you know what, for no reason whatsoever, because this dude did not text me back. But it was funny because he kept texting me. Anybody else would have been like, all right girl, whatever. But he just kept insisting on texting me and hanging out while I was there. So like I said, that's my dude or whatever. So we ended up having, like I said, a great time. And I kind of felt like that was God's way of saying, girl, you know you're gonna get comfortable, and you know you're not gonna go out here and enjoy it like you should. Text that boy back, please. Do what. And I felt that push, and I was like, you know what, let me text him. Like I said, I had a great day, like an amazing day. It was so cool. I truly enjoyed that trip. Get out your feelings, ladies. So this is the funny one. So in DC, I don't go on these trips looking to hook up with anybody, be with anybody, you know, meet anybody. Like, that's not my MO. It could be yours, that might be your thing, but me personally, I really want to enjoy these moments and these trips on my own. So in DC, I had a friend that was out there in DC, but all I needed from him, because he was extremely busy, was to bring me to the airport, and that's all I needed, and that's what he did. So I was literally out here alone. I was, you know, going around downtown. My hotel was downtown, and I was venturing off, seeing so many of the sights. I really loved DC. I loved the scenery, I loved the feel, I loved everything. I loved so much about DC. DC was really dope. And I was going back to my hotel. So my hotel was maybe like 10 minutes away from where I was, and I just had came from a museum or something. I think that was like the last thing I did. And I was like, you know what, let me get this Uber ride back to my hotel. But I was like, let me just walk around a little bit more and look around. And then I realized when I was looking on my phone, when I was looking at maps, I was close to my hotel. So I was like, you know what, maybe I could walk back. Cause like I said, I was being a little bougie. Kept getting this feeling, walk. And do not call an Uber, walk. I really felt like it was God. I'm just gonna say that. I felt like it was God that was telling me to walk back to your hotel. And I'm just like, dude, I could catch this Uber and be right there, so I could go take me a quick nap before I go to this event tonight. I could walk back to your hotel. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm gonna let y'all know something. My sense of direction is trash. It's just poo. It just sucks. This is with maps on the phone, guys. I'm just saying, some stuff you just know. And I really was like, okay, fine, I'll listen. Upon walking back, I got so excited. I even did an Insta snap. I was like, y'all, I found my hotel. I'm so proud of myself, because this just not me. And I remember that moment. Like, I was like, I really found my hotel walking back. And upon going into my hotel, guys, this dude, I don't even know where he came from, But he comes from out of nowhere and he stops me and, you know, compliments me, starts talking. So he looks at the hotel and he looks at me. He was like, oh, are you visiting? And I'm like, yeah, I'm visiting. And usually Darla runs, like, when it comes to stuff like this. If I'm being approached by a guy or whatever, I'm just like, I'm not interested, sorry. You know, I'm very respectful, honestly. Like, I don't owe you that, sir, but at the end of the day, I still, you know, give men like a little bit of respect, and like, I'm just not interested. I didn't do that with him. I think I was still high off the excitement of finding my hotel, y'all. I really do, because usually I'm just like, I'm not here for it, especially in another city. Like, that's just me being protective of myself. I'm by myself. So I just, for whatever reason, I'm listening to what he gotta say. And he just was like, you know, saying things or whatever. And so he's like, you want to do something tonight? I'm like, sir, I don't know you. So I was like, you know what? I don't think so. But he was like, why not? And I'm just like, I don't know you. And he was just like, I get that. So anyway, we exchanged numbers, and I don't know who this person was, y'all. Like, I'm talking about me, because usually I'm just like, nope, no. So I exchanged numbers with him, and I was like, all right, I'll hit you up because there's a spot and I just kind of want to get your opinion on it, but I'll let you know if I decide to go. So he was like, cool, make sure you use that or whatever. So I get back to my hotel room, and I'm just like, should I go? Well, I'm still going. Like, I was still planning to go to this place regardless. But I was like, should I go with him? So I prayed on it. I was like, God, should I go? So let me let y'all know something about me and my relationship with God when it comes to men. God gets very quiet. Why? I don't know. But it always ends up working out, and he always basically guides me in the right direction. So anyway, I was just like, should I go? And I'm like, I don't know. Should I go? I don't know this dude. He might, you know, try to get my booty, which he did, but I'll get to that. I started getting this feeling like, okay, go. Enjoy yourself, go. And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna do it. So we ended up both Ubering to the place, and we met each other there. So what happened was, I ended up getting there, and he was like, now he would have told me this before I came, but he didn't. But he was like, the next showing is not until 10:30. Mind you, this was like 8 o'clock, 7:30. So in the meantime, we ended up going downtown, and he ended up showing me this spot. Did some jazz and chill, and, you know, had good conversation. It really reminded me like of a spot in New Orleans. It was so dope. And just walked around, you know, downtown and just talked, and it was great, honestly, guys. I had a great time. Mind you, we still hadn't even gone to the exhibit yet. We go back to the exhibit, and that was so dope as well. We, you know, leave that, have fun. It's like maybe a little bit after midnight by this time, and I decided, I'm about to go ahead and call my Uber and go back to my hotel. Oh no, I got it, it's cool. So, oh, okay, cool. So, you know, we get the Uber ride back to my hotel, and I'm like, thanks, had a good night. So then he tries to follow me to the elevator, and I'm like, sir, good night. One of those things where it was like, this where it ends? Like, we not, yes, sir, this is where it ends. It ain't that type of party. Thanks for the whole night. On you. Thank you. So me personally, I took that as, God, I'm gonna show you a great time. You gonna have a wonderful time. And this fool, he gonna try to get your booty. He gonna want something from you. But I got you. You ain't gotta spend a dime tonight. You good. That whole night was wonderful on somebody else's dime. So for one, I don't want y'all to think this. I have my own. Like, that's not even a question. So I thought about it like this, y'all. So had I gone to the exhibit by myself, I would have had to pay for the Uber ride there, then find out that the exhibit wasn't until 10 o'clock that night. So that means I had two options. Take another Uber ride back home, well, not home, but to my hotel, or downtown, spend that time alone, which was fine, but still, that was another Uber ride. Then I would have had to pay for dinner. Then I would have had to pay for another Uber ride to go back to the exhibit. Then I would have had to pay for the exhibit. Then I would have had to pay for another Uber ride to go back to my hotel. How y'all do the math? So y'all don't think that was God? I do. You don't have to, but I definitely do, because that whole scenario and that whole situation worked out in whose favor? Mine. And did I have to give up anything? No. And was I protected the whole night by somebody that I didn't even know but still was good, and everything was free? And had he not tried to, it would have honestly been the great ending to a wonderful night. But you know what? You men have to be you. Honestly, guys, that was an amazing trip. That was an amazing day. And he honestly the next day apologized. So it was cool. Like, I was not tripping. It was really, honestly, one of the best ones, but still didn't top, like I said, LA was so dope. But I hope you guys enjoyed that story, because honestly it is one that sticks with me to this day, because that whole night was so dope. Even the way that it ended, it still did not ruin the experience. I had a wonderful time, y'all. Like, so dope. So I hope you guys are encouraged to take that leap of faith and really enjoy solo tripping, because it really is great. This is something that you really want to do. I say go for it. I say do not hold yourself back. Do not be afraid. Always be on guard though. You know you're traveling alone, especially women. Oh my gosh. Ladies, please be on guard. In LA, I actually got cool with the security at my hotel, and he was so nice. And he kind of looked out for me. So, I mean, really pay attention to your surroundings. Always stay on alert, and be mindful of the location and things that you're doing and where you're going. Guys, be safe. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and also please do not forget to subscribe. Also, I am trying to get to a goal before the end of the year, so please help me to get my subscribers up. I would totally 100% appreciate it. Also, follow me on Instagram at TheThirtyJourney.co. Also, I have my blog. It is up, and I am going to be updating it very soon as well, and it is TheThirtyJourney.co. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I want you guys to have a wonderful day.